What's going on, guys? And today the gaming piano is bringing you another video. This one is going to be by James, who's obviously talking right now. As you can tell, I sound very different than Eric. I'm not nearly as quiet as Ismail. But this is Destiny 1, one of my favorite games to play from last year, because the Crucible mode, which is the multiplayer mode, which is what you'll be seeing in this video, was just so fun to me. It was, I felt, not unique, but just interesting take on multiplayer, in that basically everyone was set on an equal level, so it didn't matter if someone had the maximum light or the minimum light, which kind of depicts how strong you are. It was just made to be equal. This, of course, isn't the only mode. They had a single player mode, and when I say single player, I'll put that in air quotes, because you could do the single player missions with other people. So it was more of a story mode, but the story wasn't really there. To get the story, you would have to go online and look through cards on their website to fully understand the story, and nobody wanted to do that. It was just a big waste of time. So this map here, so I can detour for a quick sec, is Blind Watch on Mars, which was one of my favorite maps. I felt it was really well balanced, but I think there was about 6, 7, 8 maps in the whole game, and almost all of them I felt were pretty good. So kudos to the developers for doing that, but shame on developers for the story, or the lack thereof of it. But compare it to Destiny 2 for a second. They kept the Crucible, which is player mode, in, thankfully, because I mean that was just awesome. I felt it was as good in Destiny 2, and also in Destiny 2 there was more of a story. They were able to put that together, and I thought that the story was decently well done, much better than this game at least. In fact, Destiny 2 is free for PlayStation Plus right now. So download that. I would highly recommend it, because it's just a good time to have with your friends, even though I'm not playing with friends in this. So even if you don't have friends, you can play it. But I prefer Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, and I don't know why. I just think the atmosphere of the players were better. This was able to hold my interest for over a year, while Destiny 2 didn't even make it half a year. I don't know if that was just other games having come out that were better, or yeah, I just don't really know. But I really enjoy playing Destiny 1, and I think it may have been my favorite game last year. Now, in addition to the story, I'm air quoting mode here, we also had strikes and raids, which basically you would take on bosses, and that's always fun. In the strikes you could have teams of 3, and in the raids you would have teams of 6, because the raids would be longer and have more bosses, and the final boss would be stronger. But here's what I would normally rock for this game. I would normally rock a hand cannon, which is what you see me rocking right now. That is basically a revolver-esque pistol, but you could also rock an assault rifle, a scout rifle, which is kind of like a, if you ever played Halo, a DMR. It's basically a scoutman rifle. I'm trying to think of other parallels to draw here. It's basically the MK14 with a scope from Call of Duty. I can draw a lot of parallels here, but it's pretty strong, and it's decent if you have good aim, which I unfortunately do not. And the last thing I believe was burst rifles, which were also okay. I mean, they're definitely not bad. Now, of course, there's a few exceptions. There ended up being one shotgun that was a primary called the Universal Remote. But I mean, those are the 4 main categories. I would use hand cannon majority of the time. The one I would use would be called Ill Will, which is not the one I'm using here in the video because I didn't have it yet. But this roll of Ill Will had explosive rounds, and then I believe it also had a luck perk, where it's like 1 bullet in the chamber would do extra damage, and that would save me a lot of times actually. I would also use assault rifles though. I would use one called Zao Supercell, which had electricity, or I'm sorry, arc power built into it, which is pretty helpful. Let's see, what else would I use? Well, for secondaries, I would use either shotguns, like the one I'm using here, which is Conspiracy Theory D, which was up there for being one of the better shotguns in the game, along with Matador 64. And I would also use pistols, which shoot a lot faster than the hand cannons. But you know, each gun has some place. There would also be snipers, but I wouldn't use snipers because, like I said, my aim is quite terrible. And finally, the heavies. There it was rocket launchers, I believe grenade launchers. It's been a little while since I played. And there were swords, and I want to say there was one more, and I'm just blanking. But I would mostly use rocket launchers and swords. I wasn't a big fan of grenade launchers.
Only 5 minutes left. Heavy ammo
but, like I said,
available.
each gun has their place. If they weren't used, they would have been taken out. So. But this is one I had gotten from the Crota raid I had done with one of my friends, and I just love it because, as you're gonna see here, it has a nice explosive area, and I just think that's very powerful and good to use. That could get a good clip of the heavies. You can see those two just died because of the awesome range. And 3, 2, yep, there you go. A little bit off on the timing, but that was a sword, which they're one hits, and you know the one hit is pretty nice. Now what you see me doing here is pulling out what is called a ghost, which is basically like your personal companion through the story, but it allows you to either exit the match, or you can also check the score, which is very helpful to see. As you can see, we're actually losing this game. And this game actually flip-flopped a lot. It came down to actually the final 20 seconds to see who would win. But, you know, that's how all the best games are. Now let me explain one of the other aspects of the game that I should be using kind of soon, is the supers. There's basically 3 different classes. Titans, which is what I am, Warlocks, and Hunter, and each has their own set of supers. I'll just run through the set of supers for my class. The one I just used in the video is the fire one, and it's basically you throw flaming hammers, which is just awesome. Next one is called Defender, which is the Void one, and that one is you create a bubble shield around you, and you can have it set up so people gain perks while hiding in your bubble, and you can't be shot from outside the bubble, and shots can't go through it at all, so you can't shoot while in it. So you do have to come out to shoot, but you can gain some nice perks from that. And the final one is the Arc one, and Arc is electricity, and that is basically your fist becomes supercharged with electricity, and you slam the ground, and it sends out a shockwave. And the shockwave is pretty damaging. I think you're about to see it happen to me here. Boom. Yeah, even though I was trying to get up and away, that shockwave is just goes so far and so fast. It's kind of hard to avoid when you're that close. But yeah, That is the main aspects of Crucible. Now,
You're in the lead.
I would compare it a lot to Call of Duty, as they had a lot of similar modes. Like, this is basically Call of Duty's Kill Confirmed. They also have Team Deathmatch. But every game has Team Deathmatch. That's almost custom nowadays. If you don't have a Team Deathmatch in your game, it's kind of what you do. But I guess I'll talk a little bit about the video rotation we're going to have going. The plan is right now is we're going to have me upload a video, and then we're going to have Ismail upload one of his compositions. And I think that's just going to be the best way to get it to work, because, you know, it's just...
Only 1 minute left.
It's nice that we have a little bit of balance. Now with Ismail, yes, there will be gaming, but he doesn't have much clips right now, so hopefully he should be throwing in his first composition, possibly. If not, I can always take up another week, because like I said, I have over 100 clips just stored in the system, and I think that's just gonna be nice.
30 seconds. Get it done.
Now, whenever I play these search and destroy, kill confirm games, I love playing objective. I just feel like, because that's how you win the game. You gotta play objective. So you'll see me like sometimes not always going for the kill, but instead going for a crest, or in Call of Duty terms, dog tags. But yeah, because that's just the easiest way to win, in my opinion. So might as well take advantage of that. But well, this has been the video, guys. I want to thank you, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the Gaming Piano, tell your friends, because we're trying to build the channel. This will only be like the 3rd video going up, but I have faith. This is actually, I think, where I got my ill will now that, or no, not me, but someone else got an ill will. But anyway, peace.
Enemies looking right at us. Got him.
Opponent took the lead. Zone C lost. Zone A captured. Zone advantage is yours.